Hey ladies, my name is Helena. This is my mom face. So today I'm going to show you one of my favorite products. It's one of Younique's best-selling products, other than probably the Epic Mascara. And that is our Liquid Touch Mineral Foundation. So first, I'm going to get started. I always use our Touch Glorious Face Primer. It's always a good idea to use primer before you put foundation on. It's just like primer for your wall. You need something to kind of have a base for your foundation to sit on, or else it can shift. It just doesn't lay quite right. So that's literally all you need, a tiny itty bitty drop. And you just rub it between your fingers and all over it goes. And I usually let my primer sit for 2 or 3 minutes. Honestly, it depends on how big of a hurry I'm in. If I'm in a huge hurry, it sits for a minute. If I'm kind of just lounging or a lazy Saturday, then I'll let it sit for, 4 or 5. So I just wanted to put that on first so I can kind of tell you about this while that sits. So this is a mineral. It's a liquid based and it dries to a powder finish. So it comes in a little dropper. It is a mineral base, so you want to make sure that you mix it up really well. And then I use our powder concealer brush. It's the best brush that I found to kind of apply it evenly. There's other brushes you can use. I've used Ulta brushes and things like that. This one just happens to be my favorite. So I'm going to use the shade Eyelet. We have a ton of shades. I actually bounce between a few different shades. So you just take, I usually start with 3 drops and kind of see how much coverage that gives me, and then I'll add as I need to go. Most people need 3, 4, 5 drops. If you have really, even skin tone, you might not need as much. As you can see, I've got a lot of acne scars from childhood. I had terrible acne when I was a kid, and then I also have a lot of redness. I have a lot of uneven skin tone. But like I said, I start with 3 drops, and then I dab it all around, and you can see how far the 3 drops goes. And it's not 3 squirts, it's just 3, I did this like I didn't know how to count. It's just 3 drops. So like I said, it just kind of depends on how my skin is acting that day, how much I need. Today I'll probably need 4, maybe 5. But it just kind of depends. And then you just smear around. Some people, I've had clients that have used the little blending buds to apply it, or their fingers, and it does not apply as well. A couple different things. I don't ever recommend using your fingers for a couple reasons. One is it's not a consistent way to apply because it doesn't go on evenly. Imagine trying to finger paint your walls in the house and see how even that would be. That's kind of how I like to describe it. That, and you have bacteria on your fingers naturally, and you don't want to put that bacteria on your face. It kind of promotes acne and things like that. And I have another video I'll show later that shows you how to clean these brushes. We have a brush cleaner, but I have another really cool trick that I use to clean my brushes once a week. I'm religious about cleaning my brushes. You have to clean your brushes really well, or first of all, they get kind of grody. And second of all, they won't apply evenly. You'll know that you haven't cleaned your brushes, not just because they look dirty, but because your makeup isn't as even as it once was. So I'm gonna use an extra drop or 2, just because I'm a little uneven today. A little bit. And these last forever. So usually one lasts me about 5 months, kind of depending on how much I use, but typically most people say it's about 4 or 5 months. If you use less, it'll last you longer. If you use more, obviously it'll last you less time. So it just kind of depends on how much you use. But when I was using drugstore foundation, like CoverGirl or whatever, it was only lasting me about a month per container, and that's because I had to use a ton of it to get the coverage I needed. So as you can see, this is a flawless finish. And it's also one of those kind of things, if you like a porcelain finish, you can just keep adding. It doesn't really have the thickness appearance, it just gives you a little bit more coverage. So it just kind of depends on your preference, honestly. Everybody's a little bit different. And then I'm gonna use our concealer. So I use this in 2 different ways. So I have a couple different colors. I use the same shade as my foundation to cover if I have blemishes or, something like that. And then I use the shade lighter. So this is the shade Velour. I feel like I just squeaked my voice there for a minute, ladies. I got a little bit of a cold. So I take just a tiny little drop between my fingers like this, and I pat this under my eye, and I use this as a highlight just to kind of cover up. I have a little bag issue from my children, more my 4-year-old that doesn't let me sleep. Our skincare has really helped with that, but again, when you don't get but 3 to 4 hours of sleep because your kid refuses to go to sleep, then sometimes you have little mom bags. It is what it is. But that kind of covers that, and it also adds a little bit of highlight. The other thing that was always kind of a misconception is I thought you put concealer and then foundation. It's the opposite. You want to put your concealer on top. If you put concealer on and then put your foundation over top, it's going to rub all of that concealer away, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So then we have our blank canvas, and then the next thing that I do is I use our setting powder. So this is the Touch Behold setting powder. Mine is almost out. So actually let me use my new one because that one looks... So this is what it comes like. I literally just opened this. It has a little net, and it actually has a little kind of a stopper so that I know when I've had powders before, it's kind of, you open it up and it's everywhere. This has a little stopper and like a little net so that it doesn't get everywhere. This one's just almost out, so I cut the net out. Mama, don't waste. There's no waste in here. And I've had the same one since last September, and it is now, I'm recording this in April. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I've had this for 8 months. So, and it's still got a ton in it. You can see there's, well, you might be able to see there's a ton in it. So I have oily spots right here, and then I like to set my concealer. If you have really dry skin naturally, then you don't necessarily need this. I'm avoiding these areas because my skin's not dry right there. And I just pop that baby back on. And that's kind of your foundation. This is your base to kind of go from here for your eyes, for your contour, all that kind of stuff, which I will do in another video. So if you have any questions, you can comment them below, shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or help you get color matched. Have a great day, ladies. Bye.